Hello and welcome back to Library of Ruina Ranked. In this video, we'll be ranking the cards from the Index Proselytes, Smiling Faces, Warp Cleanup Crew, and the General Receptions. Here we get some of the best pages, so let's get right into it with the Index Proselytes. So where the Prescript points is at 2 cost, rolling 4 to 7 through to 7 Pierce, with the first Pierce inflicting 1 fragile next scene on hit, and if your deck is Singleton, the dice gain 1 power. This is a fairly good 2 cost for Pierce decks. Rolling 5 to 8, 4 to 8 is reasonably above average, and the extra fragile is nice as well. Of course, it falls short of the power of Creek, but most 2 costs do, and this is a solid B. Undertake Prescript is another 2 cost, rolling 3 to 6, 3 to 5 blunt, 1 to 4 pierce, and if your deck is Singleton, the dice gain 1 power. This page is significantly worse than the other Singleton pages. Rolling 4 to 7, 4 to 6, 2 to 5 when empowered still makes it roll 0.83 lower than Creek. Forcing your deck to be Singleton for a card that's significantly worse than Creek is not where I want to be, but of course, being compared to Creek means it can't be unplayable, and that's true, it's just a C-. Execute is the /2 cost Singleton payoff. This page rolls 3 to 5, 3 to 6 slash, but if your deck is Singleton, the first die gets 4 power. Rolling 7 to 9 on 1 is pretty great, and will win most clashes. 3 to 6 leaves a lot to be desired, and there isn't any utility like onto where the Prescript points, despite having the same roll average. Still, I think having a stronger 1 and weaker 2 is better than the fragile, and better enough that this page gets a B+. Will of the Prescript is a 3 cost, rolling 3 to 8 evade, 4 to 8, 4 to 7 pierce, and if your deck is Singleton, it draws 3 pages on use. What a card this is. With a slightly higher roll average than Creek, this page's rolls are underpowered for Urban Nightmare. However, this page has some of the best utility in the game. Drawing 3 pages means you'll almost never run out of pages unless your draw is particularly bad, even if you're not running any other page draw, and you should probably still be running at least Repressed Flesh. This is in the top 5 pages in the game in my opinion, and is an easy S+. Faith is a 1 cost, rolling 3 to 8 pierce, 2 to 6 slash, and it restores 1 light on use. Being a pseudo 0 cost doesn't really help this page out as the rolls aren't very good. You'd generally rather just cast a page that has great clashing, but this page is efficient enough to escape from being an F, but only enough to get it to a D. Sense Core is another 1 cost. This one rolls 2 to 5, 2 to 5 block, 3 to 7 pierce. The pierce inflicts 1 bind on hit and on use. If the user has 7 or more pages in hand, all the dice gain 2 power. Getting 7 pages in hand is not an easy task, even with Will of the Prescript. The payoff you get is a decent page, but without the power boost it's pretty abysmal, and is an F. Proselytes Bloat is next. This 1 cost rolls 7 to 11 blunt, 7 to 10 pierce, but on combat start, all the dice the user plays lose 3 power. Rolling 4 to 8, 4 to 7, this page has good clashing for the cost, but it also reduces the power of your other die slot, basically removing 2 light worth of power from it. It sees some use in certain receptions that have power null effects because the base rolls are really good, but for standard play, it's an F. Deep Drag is a 3 cost, rolling 6 to 19 blunt, 1 to 9 evade. The blunt inflicts 7 smoke on hit, and it draws a page on use. This is another version of strong offensive, weak defensive, and is probably the best version of it so far. 7 smoke is really good as a status defect, and drawing a page is also great. 1 to 9 isn't amazing for an evade since you can low roll with it, but it's pretty good, and if you high roll you'll feel like a genius. I've been pretty impressed by this page as an enabler for smoke infliction decks, and I'll give it an A-. Flesh Fillet is our next page. This 2 cost rolls 4 to 8, 3 to 7 slash, with the first slash inflicting 1 bleed on hit, and the second inflicting 1 bleed for each 2 smoke on the target on hit, and on use, the user consumes 2 smoke to boost the power of the dice by 2. This page can inflict up to 6 bleed and rolls 6 to 10, 5 to 9, which is basically what tailoring does for half delight. Of course, this page requires quite a bit more setup, needing to have some amount of self-smoke and quite a lot of smoke infliction, but if you can fulfill these conditions, then this is a great value page, and is another A-. If you like good smoke infliction, then it's probably just a B, and if you want to stack smoke on yourself, then it's not ideal either. Inhale Smoke is a 1 cost, rolling 2 to 8 block, 3 to 8 blunt. On use, the user gains 3 smoke, and the blunt gives the user 4 smoke on hit. Getting up to 7 smoke with a single page is quite good, and the rolls aren't horrible, but this page suffers from 1 cost value page syndrome a decent amount. There isn't quite enough utility for me to call this a utility page, but it's not a terrible enabler, so it gets a C+ from me. Trace of Fumes is a 2 cost, rolling 4 to 8, 3 to 7 blunt, 3 to 5 block. The first blunt inflicts 1 smoke on hit, and the second inflicts 2 smoke on hit. Compared to Creek, this is definitely a worse page, rolling half a power lower on 1 and 1 power lower on 2, but this page is still pretty good. 3 smoke isn't a huge amount, but smoke is busted and a 30% damage increase is nothing to sneeze at. I like to run this as my second copy of Creek in a Singleton deck, and it's decent overall at an 8 ranking. Hidden Blade is a 1 cost, rolling 2 to 9 evade, 4 to 8 slash. The slash inflicts 2 bleed on hit, and on use, the user consumes 2 smoke to boost the power of the dice by 2. This page is an upgraded version of Art of Rapid Steps. When empowered, it has basically the same roll range as Tailoring. Again, this takes some setup and the damage is much lower since there's only 1 offensive and 2 bleed, but these rolls are that of a good 2 cost, and for that, this page gets an A- in a deck with incidental smoke gain, but it's somewhat worse than a deck that wants to have 10 smoke on self, much like Flesh Fillet. Smoking Pipe is a 0 cost, rolling 3 to 8 block, 1 to 6 evade, and on use, the user gains 2 smoke and restores 1 light. This is our smoke light regen, and it's pretty good. I like defensive dice on my utility pages because it means I can clash with them reasonably, and the 3 to 8 block helps prevent a lot of damage. The smoke generation isn't too high, but it's enough to trigger Hidden Blade or Flesh Fillet if they're used on the same scene. This is a premium light regen, and is an A+. Loss of Senses is next. This is a 3 cost, rolling 5 to 8 block, 5 to 9 blunt, 4 to 9 slash. The blunt inflicts 2 paralysis and 1 feeble on hit if the target has 7 or more smoke, and the slash draws 2 pages on hit if the target has 3 or more smoke. This is a fantastic smoke infliction payoff. Getting the page draw is fairly easy, and while you won't always get the paralysis and feeble, you don't need to in order for the page to be great. If you can't trigger either effect, then the page isn't good, but it's so easy to get the page draw, which is 2/3 of a Will of the Priestcraft with much better rolls, so this makes it to an S-. Rip Space is a 2 cost, rolling 2 to 4 pierce, 2 to 6 slash. On use, the user expends all charge and rolls charge equal to 9.9% times all the charge expended. On a success, the dice gain 8 power, and on failure, the user takes 20 self damage. Additionally, the pierce draws 2 pages on Clash Win, and if 10 charge was spent at once, the slash die gained 2 power. This is an incredibly busted page that's normally held back by the key pages it's available on. Rolling 10 to 14, 13 to 16, and drawing 2 pages is obviously disgustingly broken, even if you need to expend 10 charge to do it. In a vacuum, this is one of the best pages in the game, and is an easy S+. Dimensional Rift brings us back down to Earth. This 2 cost rolls 4 to 8, 3 to 8 slash, and gives the user 6 charge on use. This is just a solid charge enabler, good clashing, dice type consistency, and a great effect. This is a B. Ripple is a 3 cost, rolling 2 to 5 evade, 5 to 17 blunt. On use, the user expends 3 charge to boost the power of all dice by 3. The evade boosts the blunt dice power by 2 on Clash Lose, and the blunt inflicts 2 binds next scene on hit. Rolling 5 to 8, 8 to 20 by default is pretty good, and you get a consolation prize of a stronger hit with the blunt if the evade die loses. The utility is pretty bad, but the raw power it has makes this a solid B. Overcharge is a 3 cost, rolling 5 to 13 pierce, 4 to 12 slash, 5 to 11 pierce, 2 to 6 block counter, and on use, the user gains 10 charge and becomes immobilized next scene. Obviously, these rolls are extremely high and will beat almost anything, but the downside far outweighs the benefit. This page is decent in brawl decks and very good on purple tier's guard stands, but as it stands, it's an F for standard play. Rewind is up next. This 1 cost rolls 2 to 9 evade, 2 to 5 block, 2 to 6 pierce. On use, the user gains 4 charge, and the pierce recovers 3 HP on hit. This is a defensive page I actually like a decent amount. The strong evade is likely to win quite a few clashes, and the charge generation is decent. It's worse than most of the other Warp Corp pages, but it's still a B-. Leap is a 1 cost, rolling 3 to 7 slash, 3 to 5 blunt, and on use, the user gains 1 haste next scene and spends 3 charge to draw 2 pages. 1 light for 2 pages is an incredible rate, and this page makes charge deck economy extremely good. The clashing is abysmal and the damage isn't great, but the raw efficiency and utility cannot be understated. This is an S. Energy Cycle is a 0 cost, rolling 2 to 7 pierce, 2 to 4 blunt. The user gains 3 charge on use, and the pierce restores 1 light on hit. This is the charge light regen, and is quite good. Double offensive means you probably can't clash with it, but the light regen being on hit already incentivizes free hitting, so the downside's sort of diminished. Charge gain is important to unlocking many of the most busted pages, so anywhere you can sneak in a bit of charge is great, and so this page is an A+. Engagement is a 0 cost, rolling 1 to 8 slash, and on use adds an On Guard to the user's hand. On Guard is a single use 2 cost, rolling 6 to 10 slash, and on use gives 1 strength to the target and user next scene. Both of these pages are bad and not worth casting, an easy F. Riposte is a 1 cost rolling through to 7 block 4 to 8 slash, with the block adding 1 power to the slash on clash win. The clash is alright for the light cost, but not good enough to overcome 1 cost value page syndrome. This is just a D. Flesh is a 2 cost rolling 5 to 13 pierce that deals 4 stagger damage and inflicts 1 fragile next scene on clash win. This page has the same roll range as Extreme Edge, but a slightly worse effect. It's still a C though. Moln is a 3 cost rolling 5 to 9 slash, 5 to 9 blunt, 3 to 8 slash. The first 2 dice boost the max value of the last die by 2 on clash win, and the last die inflicts 2 fragile next scene on clash win. This page has slightly higher rolls than Wrath of Torment when fully empowered, and has additional upside beyond that. It's harder to get the full value, and you get this page a bit later than Wrath of Torment, but it's still an S-. Draw of the Sword is next. This is a 0 cost rolling 3 to 6 slash and restoring 1 light on use. Compared to Want a Taste of this chain, you get a half a power and lose this self and target bleed. You also get this page a chapter later for basically the same page, so it's just a B-. Acupuncture is a 1 cost rolling 3 to 7 pierce, 2 to 4 slash. On combat start, it boosts slash dice power by 1, the pierce boosts the slash dice max value by 2, and the slash restores 1 light on clash win. This page is similar to Men's Weapon from the last chapter. Even with all the boosts, the clashing isn't that great, and you'd rather choose a page with better clashing or better utility. It's better than Men's Weapon, but still just a D. Yield My Flesh is a 2 cost rolling 5 to 10 slash that on clash lose adds a copy of To Claim Their Bones to the user's hand. To Claim Their Bones is a single use 5 cost rolling 14 to 23 slash counter that inflicts 5 paralysis and 3 bleed next scene on hit. This page used to be better, but with the counter dice rework, you only snuff the fastest page an opponent plays with this. Yield My Flesh has worse clash than Extreme Edge, and To Claim Their Bones is also generally not worth using. This is an F. Overthrow is a 3 cost rolling 3 to 6 slash 2 to 8 block, and on combat start, it boosts slash dice power by 3 for the scene. When combined with a page with double slash, this is pretty good, but like many pages that boost dice power in combat start, you'd probably rather just clash with a page that clashes well. This is just a D. Our last page today is Slay. This is a 2 cost rolling 3 to 8 3 to 6 slash. The 1 gives the user 1 strength next scene on clash win, and the 2 restores 1 light on hit. This page is like Wet, but rolls slightly higher, has dice type consistency, and one of the effects got changed to on hit. I didn't like Wet very much, and I don't like Slay very much either. It's definitely better than Wet, but you get an entire chapter later, so the grade is the same and a D+. In the next video, we'll be starting the next chapter, Star of the City. I'll be splitting it up into 5 videos. The first will cover both chapters of the Leo Section 2 and Thumb. The second chapter will cover the Cane Office, Church of Gears, and Leo Section 1. The third one will cover the Index Proxies and Corp. The fourth will cover Xiao, Yan, and the Purple Tier, and the last video will cover the General Receptions. I'll see you soon, and as always, thank you for watching.